Did you know that Adam had a wife before Eve? Her name was Lilith, a figure shrouded in mystery and controversy. According to ancient legends, Lilith was created before Eve and even before the infamous bite of the forbidden fruit. In Genesis chapter 1, Lilith is the first woman, while Eve appears in chapter 2. But Lilith's story takes a dark turn. She betrayed Adam, became the bride of Satan, and the mother of demons. This portrayal emerged in the early 2nd millennium CE, but the origins of Lilith stretch back thousands of years across countless civilizations. Join us as we uncover the true origins of Lilith. In the beginning, according to some legends, Lilith was created before Eve. Genesis chapter 1 mentions the creation of man and woman together, while Genesis chapter 2 details the creation of Eve from Adam's rib. This discrepancy has led to various interpretations and the formation of Lilith's legend. Unlike Eve, Lilith was made from the same earth as Adam, symbolizing equality. However, this equality also led to conflict. In Genesis 1 verse 27, it is written, "So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God he created them, male and female he created them." This passage suggests that man and woman were created simultaneously. In contrast, Genesis 2 verses 21 to 22 states, "So the Lord God caused the man to fall into a deep sleep, and while he was sleeping, he took one of the man's ribs and then closed up the place with flesh. Then the Lord God made a woman from the rib he had taken out of the man, and he brought her to the man." This passage describes Eve's creation from Adam's rib, implying a secondary creation. Modern biblical scholarship offers the documentary hypothesis, suggesting that Genesis is a composite of multiple texts woven together. This hypothesis explains the differing creation accounts but doesn't address the mythical figure of Lilith. Ancient cultures, however, filled these gaps with elaborate stories, and by the end of the 1st millennium CE, Lilith's legend began to take shape. The documentary hypothesis posits that the Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Bible, is derived from 4 main sources: Jahwist, J, Elohist, E, Deuteronomist, D, and priestly, P. These sources were written by different authors in different times and places, and later redacted into the final form we have today. This theory helps explain the doublets and contradictions found in the text, such as the 2 creation stories. According to the medieval Jewish text, the Alphabet of Ben Sira, Lilith was Adam's first wife. She refused to submit to Adam and left Eden, becoming a demoness. This narrative, written between 700 and 1000 CE, marks the first explicit mention of Lilith as a rebellious figure. In the Alphabet of Ben Sira, Lilith's story begins with her creation from the same soil as Adam. This equality becomes a source of conflict, especially concerning their sexual relations. Lilith insists on being treated as an equal and refuses to lie beneath Adam. Frustrated and angry, she utters the ineffable name of God and flies away from Eden. This act of defiance sets the stage for her transformation into a demoness. To trace Lilith's origins, we travel back over 5,000 years to Sumer, one of the earliest civilizations. The Sumerians, settled in modern-day Iraq, have oral traditions that likely birthed the mythology of Lilith. Initially, Lilith wasn't a single entity but a class of wind and storm demons known as the Lilittu. The Lilittu were considered malevolent spirits associated with the night and the wind. They were believed to be responsible for various misfortunes, including illness and death. The term Lilittu itself suggests a connection to the night, as it can be translated to mean night creature or night monster. One of the earliest written references to Lilith appears in the Sumerian text, Inanna and the Huluppu Tree. In this story, Inanna, the goddess of love and war, nurtures a tree that becomes inhabited by various creatures, including Lilith, described as a dark maid living in the tree's trunk. When Gilgamesh arrives, he drives Lilith away, signifying her role as a nuisance rather than a malevolent demon. The story goes as follows. Inanna finds a tree uprooted by the Euphrates River and replants it in her garden, hoping to make a throne and a bed from its wood. However, the tree becomes home to a serpent in its roots, the Anzu bird in its branches, and Lilith in its trunk. Gilgamesh, a hero of great renown, comes to Inanna's aid. He slays the serpent, scares away the bird, and drives Lilith into the wilderness. Lilith's association with owls is significant. Her name, often translated as night monster or screech owl, reflects this connection. The scientific name for the little owl, Athene noctua, shares roots with Lilith, indicating a long-standing symbolic link between the two. In many ancient cultures, owls were seen as omens or messengers of death and the supernatural. The nocturnal nature of owls, combined with their eerie calls, made them natural symbols for Lilith, who was also associated with the night and darkness. This symbolic connection between Lilith and owls continued to influence her depiction in later myths and texts. Lilith's presence in the Bible is fleeting but notable. Isaiah 34 verse 14 references night creatures, translated from the Hebrew word Lilith. Different Bible versions interpret this word variously as screech owl or night monster, showing the ambiguity surrounding her identity. The passage in Isaiah reads, "Desert creatures will meet with hyenas, and wild goats will bleat to each other. There the night creatures will also lie down and find for themselves places of rest." Isaiah 34 verse 14 NIV. The King James Version translates night creatures as screech owl, while the New Revised Standard Version translates it directly as Lilith. This variation in translation underscores the enigmatic nature of Lilith's character in biblical texts. Lilith's demonic aspect is more pronounced in the Song of the Sage, part of the Dead Sea Scrolls. Here, she is grouped with other evil spirits, reinforcing her role as a fearsome entity in Jewish demonology. The Song of the Sage describes various malevolent beings, including Lilith, who are believed to bring harm and misfortune. The text reads, "And I, the Master, proclaim the majesty of his beauty to frighten and terrify all the spirits of the destroying angels and the spirits of the bastards, the demons, Lilith, the howlers, and the yelpers." This passage highlights Lilith's association with chaos and destruction, further cementing her reputation as a demoness. In the Babylonian Talmud, Lilith appears as a night demon who preys on men and newborns. References in texts like Shabbat 151b and Niddah 24b depict her as a winged creature with a human face, embodying the fears of nighttime and infant mortality. In Shabbat 151b, it is written, "It is forbidden for a man to sleep alone in a house, lest Lilith get hold of him." This warning reflects the belief that Lilith could harm those who are vulnerable or isolated. In Niddah 24b, Lilith is described as a female demon with wings, reinforcing her supernatural and menacing nature. From Mesopotamia, incantation bowls dating between 500 and 700 CE contain spells against Lilith. These artifacts show how deeply ingrained the fear of Lilith was in daily life, as people sought to protect themselves from her perceived malevolence. One such incantation bowl features an inscription in Aramaic, designed to ward off Lilith and other evil spirits. The text often included specific names and formulas intended to protect the household. This practice highlights the pervasive fear of Lilith's malevolent influence and the lengths to which people would go to ensure their safety. The medieval Alphabet of Ben Sira provides the most detailed and influential story of Lilith. Here, she defies Adam, utters God's ineffable name, and escapes Eden. When confronted by angels, she makes a pact to spare infants wearing protective amulets, solidifying her dual role as both a rebellious woman and a demoness. This text goes into great detail about the conflict between Adam and Lilith. When Lilith refuses to submit to Adam, she leaves Eden and begins a new life as a demoness. God sends 3 angels, Sinoi, Sansanoi, and Samangeloth, to bring her back, but she refuses. Instead, she agrees to a compromise. She will not harm infants who wear amulets bearing the names of the angels. This story not only explains Lilith's departure from Eden, but also provides a theological basis for the use of protective amulets in Jewish tradition. In Kabbalistic texts like the Zohar, Lilith gains even more mystical attributes. She becomes Satan's wife and a symbol of chaotic feminine energy, opposing the divine order. Her story intertwines with themes of redemption and messianic prophecy, illustrating her complex role in Jewish mysticism. The Zohar, written in 13th century Spain, is a foundational work of Jewish mysticism. In this text, Lilith is described as a demonic entity who seduces men and causes harm to children. She is also depicted as the consort of Samel, a demon prince, further emphasizing her role in the cosmic struggle between good and evil. The Zohar's portrayal of Lilith reflects the deepening complexity of her character and her significance in mystical traditions. In contemporary culture, Lilith is often seen as a symbol of female empowerment and rebellion. Her name, surprisingly popular as a girl's name in modern America, reflects her enduring legacy and evolving identity from ancient demoness to feminist icon. In recent years, Lilith has been reinterpreted by various feminist movements as a figure of independence and strength. This modern perspective highlights her defiance against patriarchal norms and her refusal to be subjugated. Lilith's transformation from a feared demoness to a symbol of female empowerment underscores the evolving nature of myth and its relevance to contemporary issues. The legend of Lilith is a tapestry woven from millennia of mythology, religion, and cultural exchange. From her Sumerian origins to her medieval demonization and modern reinterpretation, Lilith's story challenges and inspires. She is a figure who defied subservience, embraced her power, and continues to captivate our imagination. As we peel back the layers of her myth, we find a narrative that speaks to the deepest fears and highest aspirations of human history. Lilith's journey from the ancient world to modern times illustrates the dynamic and ever-changing nature of myth. Each era and culture that encountered Lilith reshaped her story to reflect their own beliefs and values. Today, Lilith serves as a reminder of the power of myth to influence and inspire, transcending time and space. Stay thirsty for knowledge, and let the story of Lilith remind us that history is never as straightforward as it seems. Through the lens of Lilith's legend, we gain insight into the complexities of human belief, the interplay of gender and power, and the enduring allure of myth. With each retelling, Lilith's story evolves, reflecting our own changing understanding of the world and our place within it. Whether seen as a demoness, a symbol of rebellion, or a figure of empowerment, Lilith's legacy endures, reminding us of the rich tapestry of human imagination and the enduring power of myth to shape our lives. What if the story we've always believed about the first woman was a carefully constructed narrative, and the real first woman was someone far more rebellious and mysterious, someone who left Eden not because she was tempted, but because she refused to be subjugated? We hope you learned something new today. If you did, give this video a like and share it with your friends. You can share with us what you know by leaving a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more informative and entertaining content. Thank you so much, and see you next time.